Liverpool obviously play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on the weekend. And I wonder whether you think that this is a game where Liverpool have to take 3 points, not because of the situation with Arsenal being 2 points behind, but purely for the fact that Chelsea will be missing so many players. Because if you look in central defence, Levi Cole was injured for the season, Chalobah got a red card, Fofana's injured, Tosin is out, and then Cole Palmer won't be available. So they're missing a lot of key players. And if you look at Liverpool's squad, obviously we don't know what sort of injuries will, or if they'll get any injuries against Galatasaray, but the squad is largely healthy. So is this one that Liverpool have to win based on the injuries?
Yeah, I mean, I never like to go into games demanding that they win because it's Premier League, isn't it? It's tough, and away from home is always difficult, but it's one that you would like to think that they're capable of going there and kind of making a statement, because Chelsea not in great form, missing so many players, as you say. I mean, for all that talk about the Club World Cup and what Jurgen Klopp said about it, I think he was absolutely right, wasn't he? Because they're dropping like flies at Chelsea. Similar problems at Manchester City with injuries as well so far this season. So I think he's won that argument pretty comprehensively, hasn't he? So, and I think with Chelsea, I mean, no Cole Palmer in particular, the defensive issues obviously are not going to be helpful to them. But I think no Cole Palmer is massive. He's the only redeeming feature of that Chelsea team, in my opinion. I mean, I know he gets a bit stick for going through dry patches with not scoring open play goals, but he's in a completely dysfunctional team. He's the only good thing about it, I think. And I genuinely think, you look at his kind of underlying numbers, he truly is elite. And I think in a better functioning team, he would reach an even higher level as well. So, I'm a big fan of him. And I think, him not being there, I think Liverpool can shut Chelsea out. And I think they'll score goals because they always do. So, it's one I think Liverpool can have confidence going into. They've not won at Stamford Bridge for a while, but I think they're more than capable of going this time with the shape that they're in, and kind of putting that Palace defeat behind them and kicking on again. And again, you're talking about the start. Liverpool's fixture list has been really difficult, by the way. It really isn't like, you Palace away last week, and you've already been to Newcastle, who absolutely hate you, and like I say, playing Arsenal already, and then playing Bournemouth at home, who have been absolutely flying up to that point. And they've had a really, really tough start. So this is another one where you look, Chelsea away on paper is tough, but I do think with the issues they've got, no Cole Palmer in particular, I struggle to see routes to goals for Chelsea, and I can see plenty for Liverpool. So it's not. I can't be describing it the seventh game of the season as a kind of must win yet, but it's one I've got big expectations that they will go there and put on a good performance and win.
If you look at Liverpool's encounters with Chelsea last season, the one at Stamford Bridge you sort of put to one side because the title had been wrapped up, and Slot also didn't play people like Alexis Mac Allister, I believe. So it's not as if you can read too much into that game. But the Anfield game was very interesting because Liverpool did struggle, I think, especially in the first half against Chelsea, because I think they played a sort of box midfield that kind of overwhelmed our double pivot. Now, I ask you about midfield because the selection choices for our midfield, I don't think are necessarily straightforward, because, Dominic Szoboszlai has been used all over the pitch, so you don't really know where he's going to play. And then Alexis Mac Allister, I think on form, he doesn't deserve to be in the starting 11, and you can put that down to injuries or whatever. But how do you think that Liverpool's midfield will set up? Is it as simple as to say that maybe Curtis Jones comes into the double pivot alongside Gravenberch, or maybe you think that Dominic Szoboszlai has to be in there?
Yeah, honestly can't. I think we've talked about this already this season. I think this midfield selection dilemma is just very tough to call at the moment, going from game to game. I mean, it's kind of helpful to the manager that he's got a game in midweek, and so whoever starts in that one, you can make an easy case to bring them out into the next one. But it's the nailed on player in there for me is Ryan Gravenberch, and I think the next one is Dominic Szoboszlai as well. And then it's a case of who comes in alongside them. Is it Florian Wirtz? Is it Mac Allister? Is it Jones? And as you say, I think Mac Allister's form has been poor. Again, social media is absolutely up in arms about how rubbish he is, but he's just clearly working his way back from an injury, isn't he? And so there's mitigation there, and he needs to find his way back in and find that fitness. And I'm sure it will come, but he's not in great form at the moment. So you can make a strong case for him not to be there. I think Curtis Jones has been very good every time he's come in. So he's really knocking on the door. And then it's, as I say, it's that debate around what do you do then with Florian Wirtz. So it's just the toughest area to pick a team at the moment, because the depth there is outrageous. Again, one of the reasons you think Liverpool will turn a corner eventually. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like to pick. I think the only thing I would like to say is that Gravenberch and Szoboszlai are probably two nailed on starters, and then you pick around that, and whether that's pushing Wirtz into the left or bringing him in, or if Curtis Jones joins them, that's up to the manager. But I wouldn't like to be in his shoes picking that, because it's really difficult.
Such a funny contrast to last season when you were able to pick out the starting 11 pretty much every single week. But I guess my last question is score prediction.
I'd like to think they keep a clean sheet. They'll go back to being solid. I think they can keep Chelsea out, because I think, again, so much excitement around their summer business. I was not massively convinced at all. And I'm not saying that with hindsight, just genuinely felt it was kind of swapping a lot of like for like, and that Cole Palmer was probably their only exceptional attacker. And outside that, it just looked kind of much of a muchness. So I think Liverpool can shut them out. So I'm going for a clean sheet, and Liverpool always score, and I think they'll get a couple. I think 2-0 at Stamford Bridge, which would be a decent result.